one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Stages. This is Stages Podcast. I am Mary, and I am a baby boomer. And on this podcast is where we bridge the generational gap between all across the board with baby boomers and millennials. And I am here with two millennial sidekicks.
I'm Lorena. I'm a millennial.
I'm Zachary. I'm a millennial.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up?
It seems like it's been so long since we've hung out together.
I know. It does. Feels like it's been a hot minute. I think because it's gone from full lockdown to chillin' in a lot of ways. So it's like the world just suddenly started again. You know?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy that we're kind of inching back into normal, but still with kind of bits of lockdown kind of, in our life in an interesting way. It also feels like, even though it's been super, it's been such a long time, it still feels like it's happening super fast. It's like, wait, I'm not ready to rejoin society yet. Hold on.
I feel that too. I really do. I'm like, I don't want to get back to being so busy anymore. I kind of like the chill.
I thought I'd feel that way, but I absolutely don't. I'm booked every night, got something to do, people to see. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, Lorena and I are hanging out tomorrow night, so that should be fun.
Going to a concert. That's I'm most excited. Live music.
I know, live music. I'm so excited too. I mean, the crowd, the atmosphere. I'm so down.
Hey, speaking of crowds and atmospheres, you know what is kind of like crowds and atmospheres, except for virtual versions of those things?
Baking cookies?
That's close, but it's neither virtual nor does it have any of the qualities I just described. Any other guesses?
A crowd of cookies on a platter, right?
Lorena,
how's cookies?
Lorena, how's all that yoga you're doing? Because those are some stretches, girl.
I must make it connect.
Very good.
All right. Well, what could you be talking about, Zach?
Yeah, I'll fill you in. I'm talking about the
social media.
Social media.
Yeah.
So just a little fill in. This was actually the very second podcast we ever did was about social media, and we did that one in studio, and I was editing it, and I sent a note to the girls, and I just said, hey, I think that this is such a big topic. There's so much that we can say about it. I don't want to publish this episode. Let's take some time. Let's think about what we want to say. Maybe get on our feet a little with the podcast. And now I think we're at a point where we can talk about it. And, I know I have a lot to say about it. I know both of you do for sure. I mean, social media is it's just like this wrecking ball on society as we once knew it, as the boomer society. And it's so interesting. There's so much to dive into.
Yeah, I think too, the thing with social media is it's hard to talk about because there is so much negativity. It's so saturated in negativity, but also at the same time, I'm like, why are we all so negative about it? It's such a resource and tool, and it does add so much to our life. So it's trying to figure out how to talk about it without just being a total party pooper, wet blanket. It's it also has benefits. So we'll talk about both.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And Zach, you're the wrecking ball, it's the pendulum swinging. It's there's a good side, you're talking about, Lorena, and then there's the dark side. And yeah, so let's unpack that. Definitely.
the dark side. You have to use the Force to make it through.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with usage because, I mean, just like anything in the world, as long as you're not overusing it, it can be, really positive. The thing about social media, and I don't think there's ever been a phenomenon like this, is that you have these companies full of some of the smartest people in the world who are just dead set on finding every technique they can possibly use to make their app as addicting as possible. Like their goal is to get you to spend as much time on Instagram or TikTok or whatever as possible.
It's like the same as drug lords. They're just like virtual drug lords.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the drug is dopamine. It's
Yeah.
like whatever can get that dopamine release in your brain.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely, for sure. Yeah, they're doing a good job with that. 'Cause lots of people are totally addicted to it.
But like you said too, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. Like it's just interesting to look at. It's sort of like whoa, like it feels like it sort of happened overnight.
It did. It feels like it creeped up on us.
And I think too, because this year, we've all been in a vortex, so I think everyone has, if they have social media, like some people either completely stopped using it or they dove in more than ever because it was like, can't stop looking away at my device. And I think it's more like even like I feel like there's something, it's not even addiction just to an app. It's like addiction to looking at screen because I find that like I can't I'll even like want to read the Bible on my phone or whatever on my like do things that are non-addictive activities on my phone just to be on my phone. And it's like when Ross and I take a snowboard trip and I literally don't take my phone with me for like 3 days up the mountain and then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like I feel fully whole again." And it's like not really to do with an app. I think it's just to do with like screen time versus nature time, and you can't really have both because even if you're in nature and on your screen, it's not the same as just like meditative still sitting in your environment and like fully being there,
Right. Like totally immersive into nature.
Yeah.
I find myself like always looking for my phone. Even if I'm not looking at it, I'm always like, okay, where's my phone? Like I never leave my house without my phone.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like I feel like Zach, so if everybody knows Zach is running several social media accounts. And I feel like for you, Zach, that has probably like your awareness of everything that's going on with social media has amplified times 100 because it's your job to be on it every day and creating for it every day and facilitating what works and doesn't work for it every day. So I'm really curious just to hear your brain dump of opinions.
I mean, it's so interesting because like if you check my own personal social medias, I'm not really very active. Like I don't even really like social media that
like you
much.
never even have been. It's not even like when Facebook first came out, like you were not on social media like growing up. Like I feel like I was as a teenager, like yeah, MySpace, whatever. But I don't remember you being into it. Were you?
I think I remember no, I really wasn't that much. I think I remember there was a period of time I liked to post like update my status on Facebook. Remember when that was like a thing? Like, oh, I'm gonna update my status. I remember enjoying that briefly for a while, but no, it's so interesting. Like with my wife, Nurtouch, we run a YouTube channel together. And for my work, like my main thing that I do is TikTok. So those are the two that I'm most focused on. But yeah, I kind of look at my life and sort of like how did all of this, like, I don't even like social media. Like, how is my entire life and like my income and like all my time revolving around creating content for social media now? And it's so interesting. Like, actually, I mean, I do like the stuff that we're making, and I think that it's valuable. Even, podcasts like this are a type of social media. Like, I think that there's a lot of good that social media brings to the table, but there's also just so much, like, time sink that goes into it. When you start getting into like recently I've been watching these long YouTube videos of like, I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying right now. My goodness.
I feel you. I feel like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of, I find like with music, I go through these periods where I'm like really stoked and I'm having a lot of fun being on social media. My community is really active and we're having banter and it's a lot of fun. And then I go to these like downward spiral periods where I start getting really heady and like existential crisis. And I'm like, I myself don't like being on social media. Who am I to put stuff out there to be part of the problem keeping people on social media? Like, I so crave to see these people in person or like be at a party or, have this very like genuine, real connection. But at the same time, it's a double edged sword because I would never talk to somebody in freaking Portugal in real life until I physically go there. But I also can't just go there on a whim and book a show. Like, I could, but probably nobody's going to show up. So then it's like taking the time to build relationships with people that are there. How do we do it online? It's a huge thing. But it's like that. What am I doing? Because I think everyone would be better off if they weren't on social media. And am I like part of the problem being on it? I don't know. Is that kind of how you feel, Zach? Sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think too that there is a core. I mean, not I think. I mean, there is all sorts of scientific evidence that shows that there's a correlation between social media usage and mental health, a negative correlation, right? Like the more time that we just spend. And I mean, Instagram might be the worst offender, I would say, because Instagram is such like a highly like, this is like the single picture that perfectly encapsulates my life. It's photoshopped to perfection. Like every single thing, the way that the steam flies off of my cup of coffee just it's just the embodiment of how perfect my life is compared to yours. I mean, that's really kind of the message that a lot of these accounts are trying,
subliminally. That's like what happens. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The real life versus what's really going on behind the scenes. You don't really know. So do you guys think there should be like an age limit on when you can start using social media? Is that something that can be contained? Because I think kids are using it so young.
I know.
Like Gwen just turned 7. She is totally like, she was watching TikTok videos the other day about fidgets and
that makes me. I come across like all the time, and like I feel like the algorithms know me. Like I'm into bleached hair videos. I'm into fitness. I'm into yoga, meditation stuff. I'm into music and music gear. That's kind of like the stuff I get served. And even I will randomly come across some like really dark stuff that I'm like, how is this? This isn't. And I like try and swipe fast because I'm like, I don't stop feeding this to me. But I guess that thing got so big at a certain point that this Venn diagram of people that were interested in it somewhere crossed over into one of mine. And then it served, so it's like, okay, let me serve it to her. So I can't imagine for a kid, and like I'm an adult with such an awareness of like, once you take something in, you can't get rid of it. Like it's in your brain and your body and your soul forever. So like, I just like, I feel scared for kids not to be.
I do too. I mean,
because there's no regulation. And who also like, I don't think censoring is necessarily right, but like what, I don't know, like what happens for kids, like there's so many things that they would never see in life ever living their life if it's not for social media.
Right. And they're spending their time looking at social media instead of like outside or crafts or you
Mhm.
know.
God,
Just
that is like,
yeah.
what's to be done? I don't know. How do we?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. Like, what's to be done? It's like everything in moderation, right? And some kids, like, they really get affected. Like they, they see the perfect photoshopped, person on there, and they're like, I don't look like that. And it's like, well, don't worry, she doesn't either.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
Yeah, it really is just like as a society, we're all kind of just shrugging our shoulders and throwing our hands up, like, don't know how to deal with this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say I do think, and this is entirely anecdotal, but I feel a little bit like we have sounded the alarm bells off a little bit unnecessarily. Like I think that when we start getting into the territory of like, oh, kids, instead of playing with their friends outside and getting muddy, now they're addicted to their phones. I don't think that's happening as much as we think that it is. I mean,
Yeah.
kids are so crazy. They already have short attention spans anyway. I mean, they're still running around and having fun and doing all that stuff. And, I'm not saying every parent necessarily is doing a perfect job of regulating their child's use, but, overall, it's. I think we've exaggerated the effect a little bit. I mean, they're still human beings. They're intelligent. We underestimate how smart kids are all the time.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, they're
But
so smart. They're so resilient.
Yeah. I do think there's things though, like I can think back to like in 4th grade, there was a girl in my 4th grade class that was reading a book about child abuse, and like at recess she read some of it aloud to us. And I remember, like, I can go back and remember how I felt in that moment when my whole world was like shattered, hearing these gory details of what this kid, like, autobiography this kid went through. And I just think, like, so that gets served in a TikTok. That kind of feeling, it might not be the same thing, but that kind of feeling can so easily get served to a kid at a younger age. Like their worlds are shattered probably by a lot more things a lot more frequently. And it's like, I don't know if it's good. Like, I don't think it's good, but because then are they immediately talking to somebody to process it? Because I remember, like, probably if I had gone home and like cried to my mom about and really processed it, maybe it wouldn't still like sit with me, And I think it's like having the tools to process what we take in, to like express them so they don't like sit in who we are, and then like we scarily navigate the world as we grow up because of something small. And then like with social media, it happens so fast. I feel like you can't even remember what gave you that unsettling thing to like resolve it in some ways. If that makes sense. But
yeah,
there also are awesome things about social media, so I don't know, maybe we should say like good things about it.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean,
Yeah, there's good things too about it, like catching up, like seeing what your friends are doing, and showing people, like I do a lot of photography on my Instagram account, and showing people
Yes.
different parts of the world, and that they would have never seen, or that they are learning about. So yeah, there's great things about it, definitely.
That's actually a great, you like your puzzles, the zebra one, when Mary has
Yeah.
this amazing photograph of all these zebras and it was made into a puzzle. And like when you had put it out there, so my mom ordered one for one of her friends. Did I tell you
Oh,
this?
nice.
And she did it,
No.
and my mom has it here, so I want to bring it when I see you to sign for her.
Oh,
But it's like
absolutely.
all of these things could only happen because of a social media post that was like, hey, here's this
Absolutely.
puzzle. My photo was selected for this puzzle. Like, would you have thought to individually text my mom, or, however many people, versus you could just put it out at once, and then who's really interested is going to show up and buy it or share it with their friends or whatever. So that's like a really cool thing. Actually, that's so
Yay.
cool that social
1
media
point for
provides
social
that.
media.
1 point. Yeah. There we go. See, like on the negative side, it's brainwashing our entire society and all of our children and getting us addicted to dopamine. On the plus side, zebra puzzles.
On the
So
plus
But,
side,
like,
I
my-
sold a zebra puzzle.
My example is the contagion, right? Like, there's this
Right.
one puzzle. My mom sees the post, she buys it, and she sends it to her friend. Her friend in person does it, and like then her friend comes over in person, is like, "Look, I did this puzzle. It was really freaking hard." And then my mom in person, then it's like a reason for me to see you to sign it. So it kind of has a contagion of real life positive things.
Yeah.
Besides just one
Mhm.
sale. You know, it's the human interactions and
Yes.
connections that can happen from it, which I think are
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Absolutely. I mean, the connections that we make on social media are genuine and they're meaningful, and definitely don't want to neglect, like, tons of people are making money and like living their life through social media. I guess I mean, really, like, if there's any single message that needs to get through, it's that the skills that we need to learn are changing. Like when
Yes.
we all went to school, even us as millennials, I mean, we went to school to learn and to like get information, and to we were memorizing a lot of stuff, but now those skills are less relevant. We have access to all of the information in the world, just by moving our thumbs around. What we need to learn how to do with social media is disseminate what's meaningful, how to not get affected by stuff that we don't need to get affected by, and how to actually focus on the things that are important, because we have every single thing in the world there working hard to try to distract us with this social media world now.
Sometimes I wonder if we're going to go back to a society that's like, because I've thought about this for work, where if I have like my work phone and I just do all my social media on like a work phone, and then having just like a flip phone or something else that's like my usual people that know me can contact me or things like that. And I kind of wonder if there's gonna be a turning point where more people are back to just like literal calls, and then they have their separate device that leaves them, that's not with them all the time. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's going to be a tipping point, and it's going to go back a little bit. The 90s are in right now, so flip phones. I'm
There you
looking
go.
at you. Make your comeback.
Right. And Norm still has his flip phone, and he will not get a smartphone. He loves his flip phone.
Right on.
But
Hell
I
yeah.
love that idea. I mean, I think you're right. There's definitely a tipping point. I think that we're going to reach a tipping point. That would be so incredible. Like, leave this at home. Leave your smartphone at home.
But then you still have your thing so people can contact you, just your regular phone.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just an idea. Y'all let us know what you think. Anybody watching, listening, comment and tell us. Could you do a life with just a temporary smartphone for like 9 to 5? You have your smartphone, and the rest of the time you have flip phone, so that we can like turn off the craziness of life.
Yeah.
As
go back to 9
society.
to
Could
5.
that be a thing? Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, let's the three of us. I challenge us. Let's start the trend.
I'm down. As long as I can keep my number.
I'm totally down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Let's try. But or not, and then let's. Okay. After this, maybe we come up with a challenge, and then we see if anybody wants to do it with us.
Let's do it. I'm down.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I would love that. Leaving this at home.
Like, we can't solve the whole world's social media issues, but we might be able to solve our own.
That's
as
right.
a team.
And if we want to change the world, we first must change ourselves.
That's right. Ripple effects. All right, guys.
Ripple effects.
Any comments you guys have about it? Any suggestions? Drop a comment below. We're down with it.
And
I have a single suggestion. I'll throw this out real quick. There's a really good piece that came out on Netflix that's about social media. I think it's really more of like a millennial piece, but Inside by Bo Burnham.
Okay.
It's got a really good take on like social media and just like the world that we kind of have found ourselves in 2021.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Me too. Will you drop it in the show notes? Maybe we can watch it and talk about it.
Sounds
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
On our flip phones. I just watched this. Hey, I just watched that Netflix series. Anyway.
Hold on. I can't hear you. I just pulled out my antenna for people not watching the YouTube version.
So yeah, catch us next week, next month, next year with another episode updating you how it goes with our flip phones. And we hope all of y'all are, staying positive. We know social media is hard, but hope everybody can set their boundaries and find the joy in it, because there is joy to be had that can ripple out into our real lives.
That's right. All right, guys.
Word.
We'll see you next week. Word.